Welcome to our little world. I'm happy you decided to stop by. If you're a new guest, become a permanent resident. Subscribe and share this video with those you care about. That way, our world will become bigger and warmer. I'd really love to know what city or country you're watching us from. Your comment is a ray of sunshine for me. Well then, let's set off on our journey. Out of the blue, my girlfriend of 3 years sat me down with a suggestion she claimed would strengthen us. Opening the relationship. Her idea, not mine. I replied, if you really believe that's what'll help, then okay. 2 weeks later, she was online, posting a cozy picture with another guy's arm wrapped around her like he'd always been there. So I responded in kind, uploaded a photo with her best friend, arm around her waist, and made sure to tag Emma. Now she's sobbing, saying I crossed the line. 3 years? That's how long I thought we had something real, something solid. Turns out I was just a character in a story she'd already started rewriting. Name's Jake. I'm 29, work as a software engineer at a growing tech startup. I make decent money, live in my own apartment, and have things relatively figured out. Emma, 27, had been part of my life since college. She's in digital marketing, always buried in her phone, tracking hashtags, building the perfect version of herself online. Everything seemed fine until it wasn't. About a month ago, she started acting off. Her phone never left her side, always flipped screen down. Late work nights became routine. And this new coworker, Marcus, suddenly became a regular in her conversations, mentioned way too often. It was obvious if I'd chosen to see it, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Then came the turning point. We were sitting at my place eating dinner when she dropped it. Jake, she said, I've been thinking a lot about us lately. I braced myself, figured we were in for a relationship talk. But what she said next left me frozen mid-chew. I think we should try an open relationship. I nearly choked on my food. She pressed on. I read this article that said, opening up a relationship can actually make couples stronger. We've been together so long, it might help us reconnect with what we love about each other. I couldn't even process it at first. 3 years, and she suddenly wanted permission to date other people? It could stop us from going stale, she added, like she was reciting lines she'd practiced in the mirror. She said it so casually, like it wasn't anything major. After a long silence, I nodded. If that's what you need, I said quietly. Her whole energy changed. Her shoulders relaxed, almost like she was excited. Wait, seriously? You're really okay with this? Yeah, I told her. But we have to set some rules. We spent the next hour hashing out boundaries. No hooking up with coworkers. No dates at our place. Be honest about who we're seeing. Use protection, no exceptions. And the biggest one, stay emotionally available. No ghosting, no going dark, no silent treatment. These rules are for us, she emphasized. Trust and openness matter most. She seemed unusually well-versed in how these things worked. A little too well. That's when it clicked. This wasn't some theoretical idea. She already had someone lined up, most likely Marcus. So I went along with it, not because I believed in it, but because I wanted to see how far she'd go. Maybe even flip the script. The next day I got to work, downloaded a few dating apps, cleaned up my profiles, and jumped in. When I told Emma I had some dates scheduled, she looked genuinely surprised. You're actually doing this? She asked, sounding more uneasy than curious. Isn't that what this was about? I said, keeping it cool. Meanwhile, whatever was going on between her and Marcus stopped being subtle. Late-night texting marathons, work dinners that kept her out past midnight, new clothes she only wore to the office. I'd met Marcus once or twice at her company's events. Smooth operator, charming in that insincere way. The kind of guy who only wants what he can't have. And now? She wasn't even pretending anymore. Exactly 2 weeks after she pitched the idea, she made it official. She posted a photo, her and Marcus at some rooftop bar, his arms snug around her, both smiling like teenagers on prom night. The caption, exploring new connections. She tagged her friends, co-workers, even her family. But not me. The message was clear. You're out. He's in. It was her victory lap. She wanted the freedom of a new relationship without letting go of me completely. I was her emotional backup plan, but that's when I decided to up the ante. See, Emma had always been strangely possessive about her inner circle. especially when it came to her best friend, Sarah. They'd been inseparable since high school. Sarah had just come out of a rough breakup and was newly single. She was always kind to me, maybe even a little too warm when Emma wasn't watching. At parties, if Sarah and I talked for more than a few minutes, Emma would find an excuse to physically separate us. I used to respect those boundaries, but things were different now. The rules had changed, and so had I. When Emma shared that photo of herself wrapped around Marcus, I decided to reach out to Sarah. At first, the exchange was casual. I only wanted to talk through Emma's strange behavior and the shift that had come since she introduced the open relationship. Sarah listened closely, and it was obvious she felt both sympathy and frustration. "To be honest," she said, "I kept wondering when you'd finally catch on. Emma hasn't just been off with you, she's been pulling away from everyone." Sarah explained that once Marcus entered the picture, Emma had begun drifting from the whole circle. She'd cancel plans to be with him, and when she did show up, her attention was always somewhere else. "She's honestly been tough to be around," Sarah admitted, "and the way she's been treating you, especially after all you've done for her, it's messed up." Over the next several days, Sarah and I kept talking. The conversations flowed naturally. She was quick, funny, and best of all, straightforward. No manipulation, no dramatics. Everything Emma had stopped being, Sarah simply was. When I asked if she'd like to go out, she didn't pause for a second. "Emma doesn't own you," she said with a laugh. "And besides, the rule was no co-workers, not no friends. Honestly, maybe this is exactly what she needs to see." That first night out with Sarah was electric. She gave me the kind of attention and energy I hadn't felt from Emma in years. She was lively, engaged, and genuinely interested in me. The spark between us was undeniable. 3 days after Emma posted with Marcus, I decided it was my turn. Sarah and I went to the new cocktail lounge downtown. She arrived in a sleek black dress, clearly having put in real effort, the kind Emma hadn't bothered with in months. I picked a table with perfect lighting, good for photos, but subtle enough not to look obvious. I snapped a shot of us, Sarah leaning into me, laughing at something I'd just said, my hand naturally resting at her waist. It looked candid, warm, close, authentic, not staged. And my smile? It was real, because I was actually happy. I uploaded the picture with the caption, "Sometimes the best things are right in front of you." Then I tagged Emma and Sarah and Marcus and every single person who had seen Emma's original post. Within minutes, my phone was buzzing nonstop. Emma's response came fast. First the texts. "What the fuck is this? Are you actually serious right now? Call me now." Then the call came through. I let it ring. Later, I checked the voicemail. Just her screaming about how I'd broken the rules and betrayed her trust. Sarah found it hilarious. "She's unraveling," Sarah said, laughing so hard she could barely get the words out. "She just called me sobbing, saying I'm the worst friend imaginable." "What did you tell her?" I was honest. I reminded her this whole arrangement was her idea. Far as I know, we're still following the rules. The next day, Emma showed up at my apartment uninvited. She looked wrecked, hair unkempt, no makeup, like she hadn't slept in days. "We need to talk," she said, barging past me into the living room. "About what?" I asked. "You know what? Sarah's my best friend. This is totally different." "Different how?" I countered. "You said the only boundary was co-workers. Sarah doesn't work with either of us." "Don't be a smartass," she snapped. "You know exactly what this means to me." "Oh, sort of like how your photos with Marcus meant so much to me," I fired back. That's when the tears started. Not the practiced ones she'd used before, but real, raw tears that seemed to surprise even her. "This isn't the same," she said, her voice breaking. "Sarah and I have history. You're just doing this to hurt me." I stared at her. "You mean the way you weren't trying to hurt me with Marcus?" "That's different," she said quickly. "Marcus doesn't matter to you." The hypocrisy was staggering. "And Sarah does matter to me," I replied evenly. "So now you think you get to decide who I can and can't see." Her expression froze. That's not how this was supposed to go. Funny, I said. Because now that it's not under your control, suddenly you want it to stop. I want to end the open relationship, she admitted quietly. This was a mistake. I laughed outright. It's only a mistake now that you realize I've moved on? That I've found someone who actually gives a damn? It's not the same, she whispered again. You're right, I said. Because this isn't just about hookups or proving a point. I genuinely like Sarah. She's incredible. That broke her. The tears came harder this time. Before leaving, she made one final attempt to sabotage things, threatening to ruin whatever was happening between Sarah and me. And in the days that followed, she tried. She went scorched earth. She told our mutual friends I was only using Sarah for revenge. She posted cryptic quotes on social media about betrayal, loyalty, fakes, and snakes in the grass. But in all her desperate attempts to play the victim, Emma overlooked one crucial detail. Emma couldn't help herself. She went too far. In her rush to control the narrative, she ended up revealing way more than she should have, laying out the details of our open relationship and her thing with Marcus to just about everyone we knew. She even went so far as to confess in a group chat that she and Marcus had been involved for quite some time. Naturally, the friend group caught on fast. It wasn't hard to connect the dots. Emma was the one who brought up the open relationship, couldn't stop talking about Marcus, and yet suddenly acted betrayed when I started seeing someone else. Most people weren't fooled. Her performance didn't land the way she probably imagined it would. Sarah, for one, wasn't playing along. She called Emma out directly during a coffee shop meetup, with several mutuals present. You don't get to suggest an open relationship and then act like the victim when he dates someone, Sarah said flatly. And honestly, you've been treating me like dirt for weeks. About 3 weeks passed before Emma shifted her approach. She sent me a message out of the blue. I miss us. Marcus didn't really mean anything. I think I was just scared to commit. But I see now how good we had it. Can we give it another shot? I read it while sitting on Sarah's couch after we'd just finished dinner. I handed her my phone. She glanced at the message, rolled her eyes, and said, "She's something else." Does she seriously think you'd go crawling back? I shrugged. I don't even know what goes through her head anymore, I said, and then typed my response. I'm good. Sarah and I are together now, just the two of us. Wishing you and Marcus the best, Emma replied almost instantly. You're making a huge mistake. Sarah will never compare to what we had. Ironically, that was the first true thing she'd said in a long time, because Sarah wasn't anything like Emma. She was better in every possible way. The final blow came a month later. Sarah posted a picture of us on a weekend trip, just the two of us, completely at ease and happy. You could see it in my face. I hadn't felt that content in years. Emma left a snide comment. Wow, Jake really downgraded. Wrong move. Sarah shot back instantly. At least I didn't need to suggest an open relationship just to keep him interested. That comeback racked up 47 likes in under an hour. After that, whatever sympathy Emma might have had left from anyone completely vanished. It's been 3 months since the whole mess started. Emma and Marcus didn't even make it past the 2-week mark. Turns out he was married and was just stringing Emma along on the side. Not exactly shocking. Since then, Emma's tried to reconnect more than once, showing up at places I go, sending drunk apology texts, trying to act like it all never happened. I've blocked her on everything, but somehow she still finds ways to sneak in a message. Just last week, she sent one through a shared friend. Tell Jake I know I messed up. That whole open relationship idea was a disaster. I just want to talk. My response, sent back through the same friend, let her know I'm not interested. Sometimes the best thing about open relationships is they help you realize who's really worth your time. Sarah and I are doing great. Turns out when you're with someone who genuinely chooses you, life gets a whole lot simpler. As for Emma, word is she's now dating some guy from her yoga class. I genuinely hope it works out for her, but she might want to do some self-reflection before dragging anyone else through her chaos. Edit. Since this kind of blew up, Here are some answers to common questions. Yes, Sarah and I had multiple honest conversations about what was happening before anything romantic ever started. We were both on the same page. Emma had opened this door, not us. To the people saying I should have just ended things with Emma the moment she suggested the open relationship, you're probably right. But part of me was curious how far she'd actually go. I wasn't even certain I was in the wrong until she proudly posted that photo with Marcus. Do I feel bad for ending up with her best friend? Not in the slightest. Emma clearly wanted to explore her options. I just happened to find one that turned out to be exactly what I needed. And for the few who are defending the friends who took Emma's side, those weren't people I was ever that close to anyway. The ones who really mattered? They saw through the drama right from the start. Also, someone asked if I had planned any of this with Sarah from the beginning. Not at all. That connection happened naturally. If anything, the best kind of revenge was simply letting Emma watch her own mess fall apart. Update 2 months later. Life keeps getting better. Sarah and I took the next step and moved in together last month, which, unsurprisingly, sparked another flood of dramatic texts from Emma. I didn't bother replying. I simply hit block. By now, our group of friends has fully adjusted to the new dynamic. In fact, most of them genuinely seem to enjoy hanging out with Sarah and me more. Turns out, it's a lot easier to have a good time when you're not constantly tiptoeing around one person's manufactured drama. Apparently, Emma's had to find a different yoga studio after things got awkward at her usual spot. And as luck would have it, someone we know also goes to the new one. Word is, Emma's been telling people that we stole her entire life. When I told Sarah, she didn't even hesitate. Well, she's not exactly lying, she said. Then she grinned. It's just that her life's been upgraded now that we're the ones living it. Some messes clean themselves up. Others just need a firm nudge in the right direction.